All right, what is going on, tamers? I hope you're having a good day. In today's video, we're going to be covering the best methods of free temming since the recent release of the Cipanku update. So we've all wondered, what is the best free tem method since the renewed release of Cipanku? And today we're going to be going over two methods. The first one is going to be going over the most time effective method. So just whenever you want to do your weekly free tems the fastest is going to be method number one. And then whenever you want to try to make the most pansun within that 400 free tem limit, that will be, of course, method number two. Of course, method number two will be taking a considerable longer time. However, it will be the most bang for your buck, or I guess in this case, the most buck for your bang. Guys, let's just go ahead and jump into the methods here. All right, so for method number one, it will be indeed in this Scarawatt spot. So it's 100% Scarawatt in this spot. And these are the Temtems you will be needing for this free tem method number one. Keep in mind, this is solely for the most time efficient method. Like I said before, if you're trying to do those free tem rewards as those telomere hack for the 400 free tem releases, this will be hands down the fastest method of getting that done on that weekly basis. Before we begin, I just want to give a huge shout out over to Gami over there on the Temtem forum. He was actually the originator of this free tem method number one. Huge shout out to you and thank you so much for letting us know of this free tem method. Of course, I'll leave a link in the description of this free tem forum guide. All right, the three Temtem that you will need for this free tem method number one will be an Oshiara. So Oshiara is very important to have this specific trait. It will be the hurry reward trait. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it just basically has one reduced cooldown on your hold moves, making techniques like Tsunami be available in turn one, which comes in very, very handy as we will display very shortly. Also, the second piece, just like our old Acronox method that was dependent on having that very low attack SV, instead of attack in this case is going to be special attack, since Oshiara is a special attacker. So if we look here, it's very, very important that it has one single SV in that special attack department. That way you minimize the amount of Scarawatt you're going to be killing throughout your free temming. The second Temtem you will need will be a Momo, and it's very important that you have the snowstorm method. And if you know a little bit about this method, you know where we're going with this is just the good old free strat. You might have seen it in PvP, but here we are applying it for the free tem method. So what Snowstorm does, as soon as it comes onto the board, every rival and your ally will receive 3 ticks of code. The SVs on Momo, it doesn't even matter. You don't even attack with Momo. It's just there for the snowstorm technique, so don't worry about it. Just try to get a cheap breed on the official Discord. And last but not least is just any old wind Temtem. It doesn't matter what wind Temtem it is. It can be a 2-rock, 2-kai, 2-con, any wind Temtem in the game. This is solely for the Tsunami synergy. So if you read on Tsunami synergy here, when in combination with the wind ally, you get 3 ticks of code. So if you see where we're going, once you apply 2 ticks of code onto a Temtem, they become frozen, and that raises the ability significantly to catch them with that temp card. And also, of course, since we're free tem, and of course, do not ever forget your 4-leaf clover. That's going to be increasing the odds of you catching these very, very effectively and quite easily. So let's just jump into it and showcase the thing. As you see, everyone in here working with their Oshiara. So very simple. It's just turn one. These Temtems do what they do, and it's going to be allowing us to go into that turn 2 catch, just like our good old Acronox method, where we mainly focus on going on that turn 2 catch. This is exactly the same way. So turn 1, you saw Snowstorm go off, 1 tick, 1 tick, 1 tick. So in this regard, where you have 2 Scarawatts appear, you're just going to want a Tsunami and swap out the Momo for the 2-rock. And there you see, you get the wind synergy with the Tsunami, and therefore freezing both Scarawatts. And look at that picture perfect HP. So that was turn 1. And then of course turn 2, you just go ahead, throw out the temp card there, throw out the temp card there, and as easy as that, you went ahead and caught 2 Temtems in that second turn. making this hands down, as I said, the most time effective method. This is not the most money efficient, right? When you're looking to make money, this is going to give you some good money. So each Scarawatt will net you about 100 to 110 pansun per release. And you know, minus the temp cards, you're looking around 95, right? 95 pansuns net per release. So you're looking at, for the whole 400 limit, somewhere like 35 to 40,000 pansuns on that weekly limit, which isn't terrible, of course. Not terrible by any means, but as I said, this is strictly for time efficiency. Whenever you're not care, you know, a little bit more of a veteran player, you're not looking for money per se. You're just looking to get those FreeTem rewards, like those telomere hacks, like those wishing well coins, like those exclusive dies. So yeah, that is method number 2. And when we come across one, which we haven't really come across, instead of using Tsunami, you're instead going to be using Ice Shuriken, but you get the idea. Ice Shuriken nonetheless does pretty much the same thing, but without any wind synergy needed. So you can just keep the Momo on and you just apply 2 turns of cold. So cold plus cold equals frozen, raising the odds of catching it. So one more time, temp card number 1, temp card number 2. And there you have it, folks. Method number 1, easy peasy. I believe on Gami's article, he says that you're able to look around 10,000 pansun per hour. So you're probably looking at completing your FreeTem within the first 4 hours or a little bit more. I would say it would take you to do the entire 400 FreeTem limit somewhere like 4 to 5 hours if you're working at a reasonable pace. All right, well, let's go ahead and display method number 2. And for this method, you guys are going to be using some familiar Temtems as our old Acronox method. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So for method number 2, as I said before, this is when you're trying to get the most juice for your squeeze. You know, you only have 400 FreeTem available on that weekly basis. So what's the most money you can make out of that 400? I believe this is hands down probably the best way of making money. If you guys know of another way, leave a comment down in the comments below and we can definitely discuss it. But first things first is the tried and true or classic FreeTem method, our 1 attack Acronox. We're bringing these back, baby. If you guys didn't see our original FreeTem video, I'll leave it up there in the cards above, or I'll link it in the descriptions below just in case you have those disabled. So very important, I'll run it through rather quickly. You just want to make sure you have the cobweb trait. Whenever you apply poison, you also trap it for 2 turns. And if you guys remember the catching formula, applying those 2 status conditions greatly increases the odds of catching. And of course, just like the Oshiara had 1 special attack, Acronox, very important to have that single attack on that SV. Of course, if you want to be a little bit more effective, a little Sand Splatter, Petrify, you'll see how those come into effect a little bit. But the other one is just Sting. 4th one doesn't really matter, just as long as you have those 3 to play with. Second Temtem is one you might have ran across in that original FreeTem method. It will be a Taifu. So for the Taifu, you just want to make sure you have the lure item. And what the lure does, it just forces every single one of your opposing Temtems to attack into it. So you'll see how this comes into play very, very soon. Also, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any attacking techniques. So a Chirrup, Cage, Mizogi, Bark Shield, these are all perfect options. Of course, the trait does not matter whatsoever. It's just more important to have that, the lure and just the Taifu. And the last Temtem you're going to need, just in case that original Sting doesn't work, it's just going to be a Kinu. And the Kinu trait doesn't matter. The SVs doesn't matter. The most important thing that matters is Revitalize, just so that you can increase your longevity. That way you don't have to return back to any Temporiums. And most importantly will be that Hypnosis, just in case, as I said, the Sting fails. That way you're able to Cage with the Taifu and Hypnosis with the Kinu, adding 2 status conditions, greatly increasing the odds of catching. Also, it is to be noted that for this method, it will be in the Mimit farm, right? For the Scarawatt method, we were using the Tem cards, which are only 15 pansuns. However, for the Mimit farming, which they're so pesky, they're always popping out of cards. If you want to save yourself a lot of headache, I definitely recommend using Temp Card Plus. It's 80 pansuns, and you're gonna see the Mimit farm still makes up for it, even using temp card pluses. Even though there's 65 more Pansuns, you're still going to be able to make a lot more money than you would for the Scarawatt method. I will go ahead and explain it as we go. All right, so if you guys don't know where the Mimit farm is, it will be on this right hand side. If you haven't unlocked the quest, I'll show you the lady you must talk to first. That way you can unlock it. All you have to do, I believe, is just defeat her in battle, if I'm remembering correctly. And then in this grass, you will be able to unlock it. It is this lady right here. Her name is Mirai. So yeah, once you talk to her, once you defeat her in battle, the Mimits are going to be appearing along this entire right-hand side. And of course, unlike the Scarawatt method that's appearing at 100% encounter rate, this Mimit only appears at 20%. So like I said before, this is not for time efficiency. This is more when you have all the time in the world and you're just looking to get the most Pansuns per that 400 FreeTem limit. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a Mimit here. All right, so this is kind of ideal here. You have a Mimit. We'll see if it's landing transmog. So it is landing transmog. So it's very important to have that Taifu on that right-hand spot, because the way that landing transmog works is that it goes clockwise. So on that side, Taifu is the one that replicates. So hey, you guys know this looks a little bit familiar. Taifu with the Acronox just staying at turn 1. And here, you could rest, but just to get in the habit, in case this is an ampling here, sometimes they have dreaded alarms, so it's not too bad to go with a cheer up. That way you can get petrify online and just kill that pesky Scarawatt just in case you don't catch it right away. And like I said, since Taifu has no attacking technique, you're not going to be taking any damage. And of course, with Taifu having the lure, it attracts all that electric techniques to itself, and as you saw, it did very minimal damage. So here at this percentage, even with the temp card plus, it's kind of rare to catch it. If we look at the catching formula, I believe it's still somewhere in that 35 to 40% range. So you can risk it here, but I can show you how to play it a bit more safer. But let's see if we catch it here. If we don't, I'll play it safe. Yeah, we see here the HP is just still a little too high. And even with the temp card plus, sometimes, you know, they have a little bit too much HP. The turn 2 does sometimes happen though when they go a little bit lower on that sting. But yeah, I wanted to play it safe, but just in case you catch it, you could try. But here is how you go ahead and play it safer. So now that the Mimit's a little bit more in the red, you could swap out your Kinu, and then you can just rest here. And then what we're gonna do is just cage into hypnosis. That will go ahead and be that one temp card capture. So like I said, it usually is a turn 2 catch, but at the same time, this is not for time efficiency, right? This is just when you're looking for the most Pansuns. And per Mimit, I believe they're 400 to 500 Pansuns per release. Subtract that 80, you're looking at somewhere like 400 to 350 Pansuns per every single Mimit release. And on the plus side, a lot of breeders, you guys know Mimit is a very, very special Temtem. It's able to breed with every Tem in the game. It has no gender. It has no type. So this Temtem here, if you get fortunate enough to run into a 50 SV, you want to save those. Don't release them. You definitely want to save them because breeders will indeed buy it. So instead of making that 400 Pansuns per release, you're going to be making in the thousands of Pansuns. If you get lucky enough to go into a 50 SV one, especially in speed, you're not looking at that 400 Pansun per release. You're looking more of in the thousands of Pansuns. So the upside of catching and releasing these FreeTem Mimits is a lot higher than any other Temtem in the game, just because they're so ideal for breeding. All right, so let's see if we catch it here. This took quite a number of Pansuns and temp cards, but there we go. The Mimit has been captured. Is it a 50? No, it's not a 50, so of course just release it. And I think this is why I only like throwing one temp card at a time, because sometimes you mess up And you catch the little side Temtem, so it's better just to kill it. I could have killed it with the Acronox nice and early, so yeah, better just to beta burst it or just get it down, and that way you don't waste any temp cards. You know, even if you don't sell the Mimits to other tamers, at the very least, if you're a new player, you can also keep the Mimits for yourself. That way you're able to breed very easily throughout your game. A lot of breeders do it. You know, you're able to breed with Yowlers, with Ribers, all those Temtems that are so frustrated and breed because that heavy male to female ratio. So man, I actually pulled a Propega move and I completely forgot we didn't have the 4-leaf clover on our Acronox, so of course it would make it significantly harder. So take a look here. This is just turn 1. Landing transmog just hit, so we're trying to catch it on turn 2, and now let's see with the 4-leaf clover if it makes it considerably easier. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I'll put it in the notes throughout the video, but just didn't want you guys to miss it out. So went into the red, and with the 4-leaf clover, I'm willing to bet that you're able to catch this nice and easy on that turn 2. Let's see. Yeah, look at the headache. We would have saved ourselves. So, man, I am 3 for 3. I've actually been Mimit farming a little bit just so I can show you guys the amount of money we get to release, or we get from the FreeTem Society. I've only spent 1 temp card plus per each Mimit right now. So just in case you find yourself being doomed from the last battle course, just cheer up yourself. That way you can go ahead and hurry up the Misogi so you can clear it off before the Taifu goes down. Alright, we'll go ahead and sting the Taifu. Misogi's online, so we'll clear the doom. And that is picture perfect right there. I believe that toxic tick will bring it down low enough. So now that the 4-leaf clover is intact, I believe we're going to be able to easily catch this. If we catch it on the first temp card, that's going to be 5 for 5. Catching each Mimit with a single temp card plus. He's a little bit higher on that orange HP, but hey, we'll go for it anyways. I could play it safe. I maybe should play it safe, but with a 4-leaf clover, let's go ahead and see. I'll only do 1 though. Yeah, 4-leaf clover making all the difference there. So disregard all those headaches we had a little bit earlier. I mean, I was describing the method throughout, so listen to what I was saying in terms of the method, but don't listen to what I was showcasing in terms of forgetting that 4-leaf clover, right? So that's my 5th Mimit there. And you know, this is actually perfect. Now that the Taifu's kind of low, we can showcase exactly what the Kinu method can do here. That way you don't have to go all the way back to a Temporium. So like I mentioned before, just revitalize, cheer up, back to back to back. And we won't tap Ambling. Ambling's just there. He's going to end up killing himself. But right now we're just looking at healing up our guys. So revitalize, cheer up, as we keep saying. So with that nature synergy, you're even going to revive that Kinu from that protector trait too. Also, the benefactor trait probably works better for FreeTem, but it doesn't really matter. As I said previously, it's just more for that revitalized hypnosis. So you see, it's online one more time. Let's go for it again. Cheer up one more time, and there we go. Taifu instantly back at 100 HP. You didn't even have to go to a Temporium. All right, well, Taifu's already healed up, so let's go ahead and run away. And just with 5 Mimits, let's go see, because with 5 Mimits, I only ended up spending 5 temp card pluses. I did indeed start with 20 temp card pluses, so 5 for 5. I caught each Mimit with 1 temp card, which shows you how much better it is with a 4-leaf clover. Mimit farming will be the most Pansuns per that 400 weekly limit. Let's go see on average how much these Mimits gave us for just 5 encounters, and we can extrapolate the math from there. All right, let's see for those 5 encounters. So 5 Temtem, 5 Mimit releases. How much did each of those give us? All right, 2,359. So let's do the quick maths here. 2,059 divided by 5. Each Mimit gained us 471 Pansuns. You see what I mean? That's significantly more than any other Temtem in the game. And that's not even including the potential upside of hitting that lucky 50 SV on any of those HP, stamina, speed, special attack, you know, so on and so forth. So 471 minus the 80 that the Temp card plus costs. Let's go ahead and do the subtraction. So in the most ideal situation where you're able to only spend one Temp card plus, you're going to be looking around 390 Pansun per release. And if you go all the way times 400, you're looking at 156,000 Pansuns per that FreeTem limit. Of course, that's in the most ideal situation. If you end up spending 2 Temp card pluses, we can do the math for that one as well. So instead of the 391, you're looking at minus another 80, so 300. So let's say you do only 300 per Temtem. So you do that times 400. And okay, so you're looking in the neighborhood of 120 to 150,000 Pansuns per that FreeTem release limit. So that's astronomically more than you would FreeTem and any other Temtem. Like I said, you're going to be taking a considerable amount more time spending on those FreeTem and on the Mimit. But hey, it's well worth. I mean, if you're a new player, if you're looking at 120 to 150,000 Pansun per week, on top of the potential sales you can make just selling the Mimits on the Discord, that is such a good come up every single week. All right, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or dropping a like on this video. Of course, don't forget to turn on those post notifications so that you don't miss any of the upcoming Temtem videos we will be dropping very soon. All right, guys, you guys have a great time, and I am Pansuns here, guys. See you on the next one.